To Bongani. Bongani, it's not every single fact that is material in court. What is material are the facts that say, did you commit the offense or not? So you must remember that we do look at all kinds of surrounding issues, but the focus is to determine whether the facts that point to the commission of the offense, what do those facts say? And that is what we call material facts. There may be discrepancies on other issues, but those discrepancies might not be material. I still have to hear the two gentlemen speak to the confession.
Yes.
Because that is the biggest. If there's anything that is very big against accused number 1 and 2 are those confessions. You must remember that the law says that you can be convicted on a confession as long as any aspect of that confession is corroborated. So you don't actually need all these other things. As long as there's corroboration for some of the aspects in a confession, you can be convicted on the strength of that confession.
Sure.
And that is the biggest problem that accused number 1 and 2 are sitting with in this case. It's a confession.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The confession, which were allegedly given freely and fairly, voluntarily for that matter, by accused number 1 and accused number 2, Umosisibia and Bongani Ntanzi. Now, let's talk about how Bongani Ntanzi's confession came into play. He literally just, on a random day, he's in the car because the confessions all happen in cars, right? Because that is Brigadier Bongani Nicholas Gininda's MO and his team. They love to work in parking lots. I don't know why they don't work inside Pagati, the police station, state buildings, but that's a story for another day. Let me not digress. Bongani Ntanzi is in the parking lot where he used to work. And then Jiggy Brigadier Bongani Nicholas Gininda comes by after he has been told by Mohane that they're over there in the parking lot. He gets there and suddenly Bongani Ntanzi, who was arrested by Sergeant Mohane and Sergeant Mohale for a totally unrelated case to the SENZO MEYIWA trial, decides, you know what, this has been so heavy on me. Here is the Brigadier Bongani Nicholas Gininda. It is unclear if he was in his bomb squad attire, because if he was, then that would make sense why Bongani Ntanzi suddenly had the urge to let it all out what happened in the SENZO MEYIWA unaliving that night. So the brigadier alleges that is when Bongani Ntanzi was overwhelmed and he went ahead and gave his confession right there and there in the parking lot. Hello, Mzansi. Welcome back to another edition as we break down the interview, I would say, moderated by Ohomotso Modise over there on ENW Eyewitness News. No, EWN Eyewitness News. And I think she did a phenomenal job. I already put up video part 1 now, which talks about Kelly Kumalo, the hostile witness, her mother, and Olongwe Twala. In this video, I want us to cover the confessions and why there is absolutely no way Judge Rata can grant the accused, or should I say the defense team, their application for Section 174. Section 174, I'll cover that in a separate video. But just for this purposes of this video, Section 174 just simply means the accused have, the state has failed to to prove their case, and the accused have nothing to answer to, and they would rather walk away. Okay. And then if the judge says, yeah, you're absolutely right, you have nothing to answer to, I also didn't understand the state's case, all charges dropped. Unfortunately, according to this lawyer, according to Ukavelo Siabi, he says, okay, that nope, no, there is no Section 174 that's going to happen here. In fact, their biggest problem, biggest hurdle, is the confessions of accused number 1 and 2. Now, you already know that there was a trial within a trial. Well, that is if you're following the SENZO MEYIWA trial closely. There was a trial within a trial, and within the trial, it ended with Judge Rata ruling, provisionally that is, that the confessions of accused number 1 and 2 are admitted into the record as is. So it was provisional because the judge at any time can change his mind and say, nope, let's throw out the confessions. Those confessions were not obtained freely and fairly. So At this stage, up to the stage where the state has closed their case, Judge Rutter has not thrown out those confessions. So I agree, the confessions are going to be a big deal. Okay, they're a big deal in how exactly the judge is going to rule. So we hear here um, that you can be convicted. You can be convicted on your confession alone. You absolutely can be. So because there's two confessions inside Pagati's court, now you understand why Brigadier Bongani Nicholas Gininda worked so hard, so hard to make sure those confessions stay in. And every time he answered a question, if you remember, he would always corroborate back to the confession. Nope, that is in the confession. Nope, that is what the confession says. That is what the evidence said. And then I did my investigation based on what the confession said, and this is what I found. So those are the things that are kind of in the air right now, that the confessions are the heaviest um, evidence, I would say, that the state has, because we're not even going to go into the ballistics, the DNA, the AVL, the cell phone records, the bank statements, Gunini, right? But the confessions alone, throw out all the other evidence, which makes no sense to some of us, throw it all out, unfortunately, because the statements are within side the record. The defense now must work to disprove those confessions and everything else, of course. But the big smoking gun here is the confessions. But then we have Ubabu Absalom Zungu on the sideline. I'm kind of disappointed that this interview also did not touch on Absalom Zungu. And I think maybe they only wanted to talk about what is inside Pagati, the court record, but they did not touch on it. I would have loved to hear the legal expert also speak to that, on what that means, what strategy the defense can use, where does Babu Absalom Zungu stand? Is the statement now valid now that on the outside of court, Absalom Zungu says, nope, I did no such thing. I don't know Kininda like that. How is he now pointing out witnesses without calling me to the court? He never sent a car. He never subpoenaed me. So why is he walking around saying, I am too scared? Then there's also going to be Umbegiseni Danzi, the brother to Bongani Danzi, who is part of the story of Absalom Zungu, right? According to Brigadier Gininda, the statement that is inside the court, that there was a fight, but he's too scared to come to court. And Danzi confessed that this is what he did to the unaliving of SENZO MEYIWA. Those are all the pieces that are out there. Let me know your thoughts with regards to the confession. Do you think the confessions alone, do you agree rather, that the confessions alone are enough to convict? Forget about the DNA evidence, forget about everything else. Do you believe that the DNA evidence alone is sufficient for Judge Rutter to make a ruling? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. That is it from me today. If you've made it this far in the video, you absolutely have my heart. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're still watching from outside the club, please consider subscribing. It is absolutely free. I guarantee you that. It's also free to comment. It's also free to like. But if you want to support the channel financially, you can definitely hit that join button right beside the subscription button. But if you don't see it, go right ahead, and in the description box you will see the link. Hit that link. I promise not to rob you. It is absolutely affordable, and it just supports the channel so that we continue bringing this great content to you. That is it from me today. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you on my next upload. Thank you. Bye.